Realme has a tendency to launch a lot of phones, and sometimes with multiple launches, some of these phones they tend to get lost in the mix. Not the Realme 9 Pro Plus. This one has managed to stand out. It looks stunning, it's got a sleek design, good internals, and the first ever OIS implementation from Realme. Now, for the better part of last week, I've been using this phone as my primary, and in today's video, let's take a close look at how it's fared. What is it that Realme is doing here? My name is Ash, you're watching C4eTech, and if you do end up liking what you see in this video, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's get started. First up, let's start with one of the highlights of this phone, the light shift design to the back. I'm sure you guys know photochromatic glasses, right? The ones which are transparent indoors, and once you step outside, they kind of transform into a pair of coolers. Realme's done something similar with this back. It's blue as long as you're indoors. The moment it gets exposed to direct sunlight in about 3 seconds, it turns reddish. Come back indoors and a few minutes later, you're back to blue. It's got that subtle glitter as well, it catches reflections quite nicely, and overall they've done something really different this time. Now from a design perspective, I do like Realme. They dare to, okay, you know what, I'm not going to say that. They aren't afraid to, take chances. It's not always successful, but hey, gotta give them props for trying, right? Now if this is way too flashy for you, they do have two other color options available, Aurora Green and Midnight Black. Beat it up, this one's called Sunrise Blue for obvious reasons. Now while the back is glass, the sides are still plastic. In typical Realme fashion, we have the power key to the right, noise cancelling mic up top, volume rockers and SIM tray to the left. Sadly, no microSD support here, just two SIM cards. There is 5G support, but it's only for 5 bands, so that might be a deal breaker for a few. That said, cellular reception, call quality, no issues, nothing to complain about. While there's no microSD, the 9 Pro Plus does have support for a headphone jack at the bottom. That's present alongside the primary microphone, speaker and the USB Type-C port. Now the earpiece up top, it also pulls double duty, so you do get stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos support. The output's reasonably loud, pretty clean, just like the audio out of the headphone jack. Moving on, the 9 Pro Plus is pretty easy to wield. It's got a thickness under 8mm, weighs in at around 180 grams, and that's despite having a glass back and a competent 4500 mAh battery. Well, this might not sound like the highest capacity battery around because, well, it's not. Still, it does well because it's paired with a 6nm MediaTek chip inside, a 6.4-inch AMOLED panel, optimized Realme UI 3.0. So I could easily get through a day of moderate to heavy use on a single charge. And if it came down to it, the included 60-watt charger, the Super Dart one, it can get you from 0 to 100 in about 40 minutes. So that's pretty sweet. Let's circle back to the specs for a minute. At the heart of it, this phone has a Dimensity 920 SoC. Now, where does that actually slot in? Well, as you can see with these scores, it's kind of sort of similar to the Snapdragon 778G in performance. And the 778G happens to be the most popular chip in this price segment. The 920 does seem to do well enough for itself. At least that's the theory. Now in actual performance, it's still pretty good. No matter what game I threw at it, it managed to run it pretty smoothly, no hiccups. Realme's done well with the cooling too, because the 9 Pro Plus never got hot. There was no noticeable stuttering even when gaming continuously. With day-to-day use, the 9 Pro Plus still continued to shine. It was smooth sailing, RAM management was on point, and oh yeah, we do get 6 or 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM paired with 256 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage. Now the software here is Realme UI 3.0 built atop Android 12. As seen on most devices, virtual RAM is a thing, and beat it up, the inclusion of an X-axis linear motor for haptics, that's quite noticeable. The feedback's crisper, it's sharper when you compare to some of the competition. The user experience is further enhanced with the refresh rate being 90 Hz. Since we touch upon display, this here is a 6.4-inch AMOLED panel, Full HD plus 90 Hz refresh. It seems to be a good quality panel, bright enough to not pose issues outdoors, and it can also get dark enough to be easy to use at night. For protection, Realme's gone with Corning's Gorilla Glass 5, and since the tech is AMOLED, the fingerprint scanner is included under the display. It felt quite responsive. Now the other mode of biometrics is the selfie camera. This is Realme's favorite IMX471 16-megapixel Sony sensor. And since we've seen this so many times in the past, I don't think there's anything new for me to add. It's decent, it gets the job done. While the selfie camera is nothing too special, turn things around, and this one, it is. This is the Sony IMX766, a 50-megapixel sensor that's paired with a f1.8 lens that's optically stabilized, the first for Realme. Now, if this sensor feels familiar to you, it's because we've seen it on flagship phones in the past. Phones like the OnePlus 9RT, the Honor Magic 3, the Vivo X70 Pro, even the Oppo Find X3 Pro. So, It's a flagship sensor, but sensors, they're very important to get good results, but they're not everything. So here's a reality check. If you go and just based on the marketing and just looking at this sensor on the spec sheet, you might be disappointed because the ISP also plays a major role in how the images end up being. The images, as you can see, they are crisp, they are detailed, excellent for this price segment, but there's also a little bit of over sharpening going on. The dynamic range is above average. Under low light, the performance is still solid. As you can see, pretty detailed images with low noise levels, and the lights haven't been blown out. Night mode's doing a pretty solid job here. The secondary is an 8 megapixel ultra wide. It's decent, and I'd like to see Realme match colors better with the primary, maybe with a future update, who knows. The third camera is just a depth sensor there to make up numbers, as always. Now with a video, you can shoot at up to 4K 30, and thanks to OIS, the footage is very stable, no complaints. With 1080-60 though, I feel the details, they were a little lacking. Okay, so what do we have here? A solid performer with decent innards, which might not necessarily beat other phones in the segment with benchmarks, but it is very capable. Now, if you're going to talk about negatives, the lack of micro SD, only 5 bands of 5G support, now these are definite cons. Realme does make up for it with a refreshing design, a high refresh rate display, a beautiful display, solid battery life, and the 60-watt supercharger charger included in the box, and software that's effective but inoffensive. The camera is also most definitely a positive, but do temper expectations, don't blindly follow marketing and the name you see on the spec sheet. It's still an excellent camera though for the price segment. So in my humble opinion, what's gonna make or break the Realme 9 Pro Plus is the pricing. Now yes, this phone has 256 gigs of UFS 2.0 storage on the base. I get that, but still I think they should be pricing this in the 20 to 25K segment, even if it's towards the north of the segment, that's fine. But if they go higher, if they end up pricing it higher, then we are treading 870 territory, and I don't think that's a segment where the 9 Pro Plus can survive. So it all boils down to what they're going to be pricing it at, which you guys will know when you're watching this video. I don't, as I'm shooting this. So I will leave a pinned comment. I will leave it in the description below. Check out the pricing. Let me know what you think. Do you think Realme could have done something better? Have they nailed the pricing? Let me know in the comments below. And also, which of these phones would you like to see me review next? Let me know. And with that, we get to the end of this review video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.